Here are the best 5 foods to put into your system to eliminate stiffness in the joints. Get up in the morning, you get up out of a chair, just feeling more old with the old bones in the joints. Here's how to eliminate them. 5 foods that clinically I found worked really well given different scenarios for people's stiffness. It's Dr. Livingood. Welcome to the doc's office. Let's dive into these. Number 1, right out of the gates, one that you may have never tried, drinking baking soda and water. So baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, can neutralize the acid in the stomach. So consuming it will make your body more alkaline. The alkalinity of your blood goes up and it lowers the amount of acid, specifically in this case, uric acid, that's built up in the body, which is a big factor for a lot of stiffness, especially for gout sufferers. But in general, if a lot of us can lower the amount of acidity inside of the system, floating in the system, maybe from the day before that we created. I always equated it to, we had a large pond as a kid and there was a pooled up area in our front yard and we had fish in there oftentimes. Well, you could go stir the fish up a bit, kind of mess with them, chase them around. Because there was so much soot in the bottom of the little pool, it would really stir up all of the sediment and the water would be so cloudy you couldn't see the fish or the bottom of it, right? You've maybe experienced this before. That is kind of like acidity and inflammation in your body. At nighttime or when you sit, it oftentimes will just settle and that sediment settles, but it's sitting there and it can be stirred up at any moment, right? Putting in baking soda and water is sort of like settling all that sediment back down again. Now, used every day could be. How do you use it? Let me explain. Clinically, most of the time, what I recommended is starting with a half a teaspoon of baking soda. And if you can get one that says right on the container, does not contain heavy metals or been heavy metal tested, it's a good idea because a lot of Arm & Hammers and things of that nature end up having heavy metals in them. So try to get a little bit more quality one, especially if you're going to be drinking it. So if you go a half a teaspoon twice a day, see how you respond there. Now, some advocates say you can go as high as 8 of those doses in a day. I've never recommended that. Twice a day usually does pretty good. And I tell people to use it for 10 to 14 day period of time to see how the body responds, how the stiffness responds. Mostly if you're having a gout flare up, especially really getting that acidity down in your system. Now, those of you with high blood pressure, may not be the best choice. My recommendation is to chart your blood pressure daily. If you add in baking soda and water, you can see if it actually impacts it. A lot of times it doesn't, but just in case with yours. Also those with kidney problems and kidney sufferers, you want to be aware of the sodium and the bicarbonate that you're putting into the system, that it doesn't throw your numbers off, especially messing with a medication. So consult your doctor if you have one of those conditions for it. But that's number 1, baking soda with water might just be the solution to get your stiffness undone. Number 2 is my favorite. It's overwhelming. It's fish oil. The American Heart Association and the Academy of Nutrition recommend 3 to 4 ounces of fish twice a week. Arthritis and stiffness experts claim more is better. Why? There's just some type of fish that are really good at lowering inflammation inside of the body, especially with inflammation fighting omega-3 fatty acids. One study found that the highest consumption of omega-3s had lower levels of 2 inflammatory proteins. C-reactive protein, which is the protein that is highly related to your heart and your heart muscle breaking down. So if you want to protect your heart, you got to get this fish in. Also interleukin 6, which is going to be a pain modulator. More recently, researchers have shown that taking fish oil supplements help reduce joint swelling, pain, the duration of the stiffness that you do feel in the morning or when you get up, and disease among active people that are taking that, and at decreasing disease activity, especially for those people that are dealing with rheumatoid arthritis, which would be like the ultimate stiffness level. Best sources of it: salmon, tuna, sardines, herring, anchovies, scallops, cold water fish. Make sure they're wild caught. If you don't like any of those or don't want much to do with them, my wife doesn't either, then make sure you take a fish oil supplement. Now, studies have proven 600 to 1,000 milligrams of fish oil daily eases joint stiffness, tenderness, pain, and swelling. So I like to target right in the middle, 750 milligrams. That's what I set mine at. It's got to be a high quality omega-3, so you can get a small pill with a high dose in it. I also add turmeric, which we'll talk about in a second, to mine. But you can simply double that dose, and research shows that's equivalent to taking an NSAID, like an Advil or a Motrin or an aspirin, at removing and eliminating stiffness. So if you're really hurting, double the dose up to 1,500 milligrams. Research is solid there, but 750 a day will get you that stiffness reduction. Also, eat some fish. Number 3, we just mentioned the super herb to be adding in a root, turmeric. Turmeric is high in curcuminoids, which lowers stiffness and inflammation in the body. It's been clinically shown to reduce the symptoms of the extreme conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, and morning stiffness goes down when you put turmeric in. This can be done in a tea at nighttime. You can shave it yourself. You can add it as a powder to a smoothie or anything that you're drinking. The way that you're going to get the most effect out of it is to have it emulsified. Emulsification of turmeric helps to absorb it 30 times better than just taking powder by itself. Some sources will tell you to use it with pepper or pepperine. That irritates the inside gut lining of your stomach to help it get absorbed. Most of us don't need more stomach irritation. So instead of that method, make sure the turmeric you are using is emulsified. You'll get 30x the return on it, so you don't have to take that much. I just combine the omega and turmeric together in the emulsified form to get the most out of it. Number 4, anti-stiffness food to put in, olive oil. 2 to 3 tablespoons a day, whether through cooking or some people take it straight up, doesn't taste as good there, but it is loaded with heart-healthy fats. Olive oil is also high in a compound called oleocanthal. This has properties that are really similar to NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So this compound inhibits the activity of enzymes in your body with pharmacological effect really similar to ibuprofen, except it doesn't have all the side effects. And when you inhibit these enzymes, it dampens the body's inflammation process and it reduces sensitivity for you to pain. So the best sources are an extra virgin olive oil. It goes through a lot less refining and a lot less processing when you have it extra virgin. If you want to choose it organic, that's great. Singular source, so it's not a blend of this oil from this part of the world, this oil from this it's nice as well. But those are some kind of good, better, best. The high quality olive oil retains a lot more of the nutrients than the standard varieties. There is another oil I love equally as well, and that's avocado. It has still a lot of heart healthy cholesterol lowering properties to it, and it also produces a few more omega-3s. Walnut oil is another one that has a lot of really good healthy omega-3s, 10 times more than olive oil. But these oils, proper ones, making sure you don't get rancid oils, can really help out with the stiffness if used for cooking and in foods and salads and things of that nature. Number 5 might just be very well the hidden culprit that you really haven't considered before, but it might be worth, if you have a lot of stiffness, cutting these out for a period of time and seeing how you do. Nightshade vegetables. It sounds like a superhero or something. Nightshade vegetables include eggplant, tomatoes, bell peppers, potatoes, especially green potatoes. These can potentially be disease-fighting powerhouses that boost, maximum nutrition. They have minimal calories, but for some people, they contain a compound or several different compounds and alkaloids, one of which is called solanine. And that's a chemical that's branded as a culprit for arthritis. There's not a lot of scientific evidence on this subject that suggests they might trigger the flare-up, but solanine is one of them. So my best advice, if you are stiff, test this one. Experts believe that these vegetables contain a potent nutrient that mix and inhibits the arthritic pain. However, many people report symptom relief after they inhibit or cut nightshade vegetables out. So if you notice that your arthritis pain flares after eating, consider eliminating nightshade vegetables from your diet for a few weeks, see if it makes the difference, then slowly add them back in and see if your symptoms reappear. So again, bell peppers, tomatoes, eggplant, potatoes, cut them out, see how the body responds, and you might just find your culprit for the stiffness and joint pain that you're experiencing. Speaking along those lines, there are some other things that really can make you feel old faster. And I made a video on that. It ties directly into stiffness. We also talk about the blood vessels being stiff, other parts of our bodies being stiff and making us feel old. I put that video right here because I think it's a good next step for you really to start figuring out, understanding the cause of your health-related problems so you can just live good, feel good, and do good in the world. Check it out right here.